I actually really like that. I'm gonna press this magic button here. Capture on Ableton Push and Ableton Live is definitely worth talking about in a bit more detail, because there's one or two ways of using it which I also had not really used myself before, hadn't really noticed. So I'd like to share those with you now. So using Capture on Push is accessed via the Capture button. If you haven't used that yet, then I don't know what you've been doing until now. But anyway, that's where we can play something, press Capture, and capture it in all its glory. Now, something I'd like you to be aware of is that the moment you press record, the buffer for Capture essentially gets reset. So I would, for example, play something here, very recognizable, but then I'm going to record something now, something else, and press record. That means that even if I press Capture, it's not going to show it. I can move this position back as far as I want, and it's not going to, or zoom out, and it's not going to show that. There isn't anything to show. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be scared of pressing the record button. It's just something to be aware of if you like to use Capture a lot. Again, something worth mentioning about Capture is that playback is key. I've mentioned this before, but if playback is on, then it will respect the tempo you're in when you use Capture. However, if playback would be off, like it is just now, and we then do something, it's going to try and guess the tempo. Now, some might ask about recording into multiple clips using Capture or multiple tracks at the same time, and it is possible. In order to do this, we need to come over to Settings, in Status, and make sure the exclusive arm is off. It's usually on by default, so let's just make sure that's off. What we can then do is either hold down two tracks at the same time to fully arm them, and it'll look like this. In Ableton Live, you will see two red arm dots there. Or what you can also do is hold down the record button here, and then select the tracks you'd like to arm. At this stage, we are now able to play all of them at the same time. So they're all playing at the same time. I can just verify that here. And if we now want to record what we've just been noodling away there onto all of them, and let's just put session view on here so we can see that happening. If I press Capture, it brings a clip in for each of those. So that could be useful in certain cases. What I think would be really useful and really exciting is if it would just be recording all the time, no matter what we do, into arrangement view, so we could move from track to track to track and make a kind of arrangement after the fact. That is something I've tested and doesn't really seem to work reliably. I'm not going to talk about it in more detail here because it's not a workflow that is valid, but I know some of you maybe might have that question. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it doesn't matter. It's slightly more involved and not per se super relevant right now. So I just like to get rid of what I've done here. I could press undo to do so, but I just want to give you a little short tip, which again, I've not seen mentioned elsewhere, which is that we can delete the clips one by one. So I can press delete and it deletes the clips. What we can, however, also do is hold down Shift and delete, and it deletes the whole scene that was there. What it does do is actually delete it completely, and so we're now missing a scene. But what we can do to remedy that is come over to Session Mode, hold down Duplicate, and select one of the Scene Play buttons, and that allows us to create new scenes here. This is like a bit of a nerdy shortcut, but one that, yeah, I don't think is often spoken about, if at all. So yeah, worth mentioning, I would say. At this stage, I want to unarm all of these tracks. So I'm going to come over to Settings, Status, Exclusive Arm, back to On. And now if I arm one of these, it'll just be armed exclusively. At this stage, we can see that we're actually down here on this 7th clip slot down here somewhere. Just to keep things neat and tidy, I'd like to be up here. So I'm going to use the select button here, select that top clip. So you can also see in session view here, we're now at the top. I find that much more reliable way of not getting lost somewhere in session view or session mode. Now at this stage, I'd like to show you how to use Overdub and Capture together, or rather just Capture Overdub. In fact, it's not described anywhere online that I've seen, so it's quite interesting. Right now, let's just move into the appropriate place. So let's move to Note Mode. Let's move to Clip View here, and I'll just give you an example of what I'm talking about here. Fixed length is on here, but doesn't need to be on, doesn't make a difference. And let's play the playhead. So let's make sure that we're playing, and I have the metronome on currently. Now, what I can do right now, and let's move to something we can hear very easily, like this one. Now, let's say that was a masterpiece and I want to keep that. I'm going to press capture, and we're going to see it. It's going to play around. Now, while it's playing, and this is the important part of this workflow, it needs to be playing, I can also try some other ideas and see if they work. Now, not fantastic. Let's try something else. Very simple. I like that. So I'm going to press capture again. And if we zoom in here, you can see it's recorded that in there. I can do this again. And press capture again. And this is just really a lot of fun, and it is a way of testing ideas out without having to commit to them the first time and say, actually, I'm going to keep that. I'm going to bring that into this clip. Where things do get slightly funky is that if we zoom out here, you can see that it's got now multiple versions. So you can see the one that it recorded just before without these high notes. That appears to be this one, and in a way that one as well. They look very similar, if not exactly the same to me. So let's just test this theory and record something else, something very obvious. So let's make sure we're playing back. Let's record something here. And now press capture. What's really interesting here is you can see it's recorded the entire length of that note that I played. So this shows where this workflow might be slightly funky and not work as you expected. Because if I play this back, we don't hear that note that I played earlier. We would have to use the clip view here and come over to the loop position or the start position if we turn loop off. And again, I talk about this way of working when we're looking at the clip view in a different chapter, but just to give you a little window into it now, this would be a way of accessing what we've just recorded. But again, it's imperfect, but it's an interesting little nice bonus that we have. I'm curious to hear about what you think of Capture Overdub and whether it's going to be useful in your workflow and whether it behaves as you would expect it to. As you can see here, it's not quite there, but it is, I think, like I say, an interesting, an unexpected bonus. Lastly, and just to ram this point home, at this stage, and I don't expect it to change, Capture ignores fixed length completely. It doesn't matter if it's on or off, or if phrase sync is on or off, has no bearing on Capture at all. While we are here with what I was left after doing Capture Overdub, I just want to give you an example of what happens if the play head or play is not active. So let's just delete this clip, play something simple, press capture, and now we're going to stop playback, and now I'm going to play something else, and then press capture again. You can see there's a new clip here, and if we go over to clip view, you can see it essentially creates a new clip on the next scene. So again, play is not active. So that's another one. So you can see it keeps on adding them below. So pretty important, and also it means that working one way or working another with play active or not, you get quite different results. That was just a small part of the Push 3 Bible. If you have any questions about the course, do check the links below. Let me know in the comments or write to me directly. And in the meantime, take care.